Aein is a humble high school student who is often bullied by her classmates. However, unknown to them, behind closed doors, she is a highly popular online influencer. At home, she dresses up, applies makeup, takes photos of herself, and then uses Photoshop to transform into a completely different person, a conventionally attractive girl with an Instagram account named Jeannie. She has many followers and receives support on Instagram, with brands sending her products and money to promote them. Yet at school, she remains friendless and is frequently bullied by a classmate named Hanul. Her only friend is Jin Song, a fellow student from a different class who is training to join an entertainment company. Due to his training, Jin Song doesn't have real friends at school. People only approach him to ask about other idols. He often retreats to the rooftop to hide, where he meets and befriends Aein. Jin Song tells her she is as pretty as a famous actress, which makes her extremely happy. The next day, Jin Song invites her to lunch, but as she is about to leave, her parents stop her, saying they have plans to eat together, which Aein disdainfully rejects. During her date with Jin Song, Aein enjoys herself but also has another task: to counter online criticism claiming Jeannie only takes indoor photos and that all her pictures are edited, challenging her to take outdoor photos. She uses the excuse of needing to return home to says bye to Jin Song. She goes to a coffee shop, takes some photos, then goes home to edit and publish them, dismissing doubts that she is a fraud. One of her fans, particularly concerned for Jeannie, messages her to check in and suggests meeting up in real life, but Aein excuses herself, claiming she has a phobia of crowds and must limit her outings. As Aein is about to go to sleep, a stranger messages her, saying he saw her outside and sends a video of Aein at the coffee shop. Aein is terrified that someone has discovered her secret. The next day, Aein wakes up after a nightmare and also receives a new message from a stranger under the account name The Cool Guy. At school, he keeps texting her, and Aein feels unwell, to the point that she doesn't even care about Hanul and her friends bullying her as usual. Terrified because it seems like the cool guy knows her, she faints during PE class. Jin Song, passing by at the time, takes her to the nurse's office. Meanwhile, the homeroom teacher believes Aein fainted due to Hanul's bullying and threatens to call Hanul's parents if it doesn't stop. Aein becomes paranoid about the possibility of her identity being revealed, worrying that even Jin Song would not want to be friends with her anymore, and of course, her classmates would have even more reason to ridicule her. However, things don't turn out as bad as she fears. Hanul writes an apology on a piece of paper and throws it to Aein. Jin Song increasingly shows that he likes Aein. But these events don't alleviate Aein's worries about the cool guy knowing her secret and possibly exposing her at any moment. That week, Aein dares not post any photos or updates. Her followers become very concerned, and brands urge her to post and threaten to terminate their contracts. Left with no choice, Aein posts a photo, and the cool guy starts to blackmail her more intensely. He arranges to meet her at the school's lounge after hours. However, when Aein waits, only Jin Song shows up. Aein suspects that Jin Song is the one threatening her, but he says he just wanted to walk home with her and had been looking for her everywhere. Aein tells him to leave, but Jin Song stays sitting in the schoolyard waiting for her. As Aein messages the cool guy, she notices Jin Song also checking his phone. She doesn't know what to think. Jin Song seems very much like the cool guy, yet he has always been kind and cheerful towards her, making her afraid that he might be toying her. A flashback shows that Aein moved to the school a few months ago and noticed Jin Song eating alone at the canteen. They then became friends on the rooftop when both went there for some fresh air. Back in the present, Aein is panicked at the thought that her only friend at school might be the person who was blackmailing her. At that moment, the school guard arrives and tells her to go home. As Aein walks down the corridor to leave the school, Jin Song startles her again. He insists on walking her home. Along the way, they hear a cat meowing, and Jin Song runs over to feed it, mentioning that he loves cats. Coincidentally, the cool guy account had also posted cat pictures, and Aein becomes full of paranoia again, thinking Jin Song might be the cool guy. Aein uses this as an excuse to run all the way home and cries out of disappointment, unable to believe that the person she secretly likes is playing games with her. Meanwhile, Aein's parents are also worried about her state, especially her father. Her mother seems to be hiding something. At the same time, Aein realizes that she had used the Jeannie account to like his pictures, and he had also followed and liked Jeannie's photos back. The next day on the rooftop, Jin Song tells Aein about this. To confirm her suspicions, Aein messages the cool guy, but Jin Song does not react. He says his phone had been confiscated by a teacher. However, when Aein returns to class, the cool guy messages her again as usual, this time demanding she wear red lipstick to school or he will expose her identity. Driven mad by this threat but having no other choice, Aein complies and wears red lipstick to school the next day, quickly getting spotted and teased by Hanul and her friends. The teacher enters the class and stops the bullying but also tells Aein to wipe off the lipstick. Aein even contemplates suicide but stops herself in time. That day, due to an electrical issue, classes end earlier than usual. On the bus home, Aein sees that the cool guy has posted a photo on his account taken just minutes earlier as she waited for the bus, signaling to her. Aein returns to the bus stop and follows the trail of photos he continuously posts. Finally, they lead Aein to a house. The cool guy then sends Aein a CCTV video showing her flustered in front of the house. Realizing this seems to be the house of the blackmailer, Aein tries to run but it's too late. The gate suddenly slams in her face. At the same time, a young man enters, and it's not Jin Song but someone Aein never expected. Kim Ho-in, the class president of the class Aein is in. It all started when Aein posted a photo of herself in uniform online. Although Aein quickly deleted it realizing it could lead back to her, many had already screenshotted and reposted it. Ho-in, curious, had narrowed down his search, initially thinking Hanul seemed like the most likely person to be Genie. However, he later realized that all the designer items she was using were stolen from Aein, plus when he was tasked by a teacher with confiscating students' phones during an exam. He noticed that Aein's phone was receiving numerous notifications from Instagram, and at that point, he had his answer. He seems quite pleased to have caught Aein off guard. Directly, Aein asks Hoen what he truly wants and kneels to beg him for mercy. However, Hoen is quite a psychopath and simply enjoys the fact that he is now the only one who knows Aein's secret. Meanwhile, Hanul is getting ready to go on a date with Hoen. It turns out that Hanul is the secret loyal fan who has been talking with Aein since she started the Genie account. Hanul probably cannot imagine that the person she admires and has been talking closely with is actually the classmate she bullies every day. The next day, Hoen takes Aein to a cafe owned by an acquaintance and creates an opportunity for her to take more attractive photos. However, Aein still reminds herself to be cautious around this unpredictable person. When Aein shows suspicion, Hoen removes his shirt and shows her a scar on his shoulder, saying they are not enemies. Aein quickly takes out her phone and snaps a photo, wanting to hold on to something that could be Hoen's weakness. Although they still harbor suspicions about each other, Hoen offers to take pictures for Aein and goes to buy coffee for both of them. During this process, Hoen starts to develop feelings for Aein, and this causes him to neglect his girlfriend, Hanul. That evening, Hanul is very upset and messages Aein, blaming herself for not being pretty enough to fully capture her boyfriend's affection. Aein realizes that everyone has their insecurities, even a bully like Hanul. As Aein is about to go to sleep, she receives a message from Jin Song on the Genie account. Aein replies to the message but is disappointed to see that he seems to be hitting on Genie, the pretty girl she created. All this time she thought Jin Song liked her as Aein, but it turns out he is just like everyone else. To confirm her suspicions, Aein daringly flirts back with Jin Song to see his reaction. The next day, Jin Song calls Aein and comes to her class to invite her to the rooftop, but she completely ignores him. It turns out that the night before, Aein used the Genie account to tell Jin Song to send her a seductive video if he was interested, and he actually sent one. Aein does not want to watch it but can guess its content, which disappoints her further. Therefore, she ignores Jin Song. In the evening, when she returns home from school, Jin Song waits outside her house to ask what happened. Aein says nothing and simply tells him to leave. At home, Aein's mom tries to talk to her and tells her to take some vitamins, but she refuses and runs to her room. At midnight, she goes out and sees Jin Song still waiting for her. Aein mentions Genie, but Jin Song doesn't seem to know anything about what she's saying. Aein gives him some harsh words and tells him to stop acting like he likes her when he does not. Jin Song informs her that he will soon debut and will have to leave school, and that's why he wanted to talk to her. Aein is sad and uses the Genie account to message Hanul to share her feelings. Hanul is also sad because Hoen is not paying attention to her and is ignoring her. The next day, Jin Song says goodbye to his class, but they don't seem very emotional. He also leaves a gift and an early birthday card for Aein on the rooftop, where they used to spend time together. Aein is very sad to see Jin Som leaving the schoolyard but only cries and does not chase after him. Meanwhile, Hanul is completely ignored by her boyfriend Hoen and decides to start exercising because she thinks she is being ignored for not being pretty enough. It turns out Hanul comes from a poor background, living with her hardworking mother. When checking Hoen's messaging app account, she discovers that he has a new profile picture of him at the cafe where he was with Aein. The next day in class, Hanul dreams about the truth being exposed that she lives in a poor family. She becomes increasingly self-conscious about her appearance and even wears a wig, yet Hoen pays no attention to her. He goes to the rooftop and has a snack with Aein. Hanul follows him and sees that they are happily playing together, which infuriates her and she uses it as an excuse to bully Aein in class. She even lifts Aein's skirt so that everyone can see and humiliate Aein. Aein goes to the restroom crying and decides to block Hanul from her Genie account. A flashback reveals that the reason Aein transferred to the new class was to meet her loyal fan, Hanul. Seeing that Hanul likes the watch she is wearing, Aein gifts it to her, and Hanul is very moved. That evening, Aein and her parents eat at a small restaurant where Hanul's mother works, and Hanul is there helping her mother. Hanul worries that Aein will reveal this to everyone in class, but Aein assures her she will not do so and also tells Hanul that her current father is her stepfather. Initially, their relationship is very good. However, a friend of Hanul, out of jealousy, fabricates stories about Aein speaking ill of Hanul's family background. Hanul came out of the bathroom, went to hit Aein, and gave her back the watch while she had no clue what was going on. Back to the present, Aein chooses to disable the Genie account. That evening, Hoen takes Hanul out to eat. And although Hanul wants them to post a dating photo, he absolutely refuses. Hanul returns home and discovers that Genie account has been disabled. The next day, there is much speculation about why Genie disappeared, with hundreds of false rumors. Aein feels that Genie is indeed a deception and even contemplates deleting the account. However, that day, an unusual event occurs. A new student is introduced to Aein's class, and this person looks exactly like Genie, a complete Photoshop version of Aein. Everyone in the class immediately thinks Mi-jin is Genie. The girl doesn't deny it until Hanul speaks up and says she isn't Genie. Until then, Mi-jin still implies that Genie's identity is a secret and that no one could know who she really is. Aein realizes that even though Mi-jin is very pretty, she still has her insecurities and wants to be someone else. Mi-jin really enjoys the attention she receives and approaches Aein during the break to ask her to hang out. Aein sees Hoen at his house, and they talk about how Mi-jin's behavior was weird. Aein considers deleting the Genie account, but Hoen says that will make Mi-jin become the real one. Hanul calls Hoen and feels like he is with someone else. She rushes over but Aein has already left. Hoen continues acting uninterested, making Hanul even more insecure. After school, Aein goes to a gathering with Mi-jin and some other classmates, even Aein, who often bullies everyone with Hanul. Someone brings up the fact that she and Hanul are bullies, but Aein subtly blames all of it on Hanul, saying she forced her to do it. Hanul feels they are being fake. At this point, Mi-jin suggests that they should let Hanul experience bullying. Aein asks her why she would want to cause trouble for others and walks away. Mi-jin follows and says that she was also bullied at her old school. Aein deliberately asks why someone as famous as she would be bullied, still hoping that Mi-jin will tell the truth and admit she is not Genie. But Mi-jin uses the excuse that she is afraid of social media and does not want people talking about her social life. At home, Aein decides to reactivate her account and posts a photo from the coffee shop with Hoen. Hanul is happy to see Genie active again, but she also realizes that all the products Genie posts photos of are the ones she got from Aein. She also notices that the location in Genie's recent photo is the same as in Hoen's profile picture. The next day, Hanul secretly pays more attention to Aein, asking Genie about the photo at the coffee shop and requesting a video call. Aein makes an excuse and refuses to accept the call because she is eating, but Hanul asks her to send a picture of the snack she is eating. Aein does, but when she runs downstairs to go back to the class, Hanul is already waiting for her at the stairwell. She realizes the snack in Aein's hand is the same one Genie sent her. A flashback of Hanul reveals her parents' past. Her dad fell in love with her mom at first sight when he saw her perform in a play. They soon got married, And Hanul's mom has always worked hard to support their family and her dad's failing business. Eventually, the business improved, but her dad betrayed her mom and left them for another woman. Meanwhile, Mi-jin takes Aein to a hair salon and manipulates her into cutting her hair, claiming it will suit Aein's face. Despite Aein being disappointed with the result, Mi-jin continues to manipulate her, convincing her it was the right choice. At school, when classmates laugh at Aein's new hairstyle, Mi-jin pretends to defend her but actually provokes more laughter. While portraying herself as kind and attractive, simultaneously, it seems Hanul has discovered that Aein is still the genie, but she keeps this secret and messages Aein about her suspicions of Mi-jin's deceit. Hanul asks if Aein can promise never to lie to her. Aein feels guilty for having lied too much to Hanul. After school, Hanul meets Aein and asks if he knows about the genie. He lies and pretends ignorance. When Hanul mentions Aein, Aein claims he was just following the teacher's instructions to prevent Hanul from bullying Aein. Hanul grows increasingly convinced that Aein has photoshopped images of herself and is the owner of the genie account. She regrets sharing all her secrets with the genie, who is also Aein. The next day, Hanul visits the cafe where Aein and Aein had been for a photoshoot. She talks to an employee who doesn't recognize the genie but reveals that Aein was at the cafe that day. Meanwhile, Aein and Mi-jin start causing trouble for Hanul. Secretly, Hanul takes pictures of Aein and leaves the class, stunning everyone. Aein finds Hanul's location and shows it to Aein during recess. It turns out Hanul was heading to Aein's old school. She goes there to inquire about Genie, and just then, Genie video calls her. Hanul is surprised to see the genie speaking to her on the screen. Aein and Aein had timely set up an augmented virtual reality for Hanul to see the person talking to her as Genie, although it was actually Aein. This disrupts Hanul's suspicions about Aein being Genie. However, just then, the homeroom teacher calls Aein for leaving class, causing the call to be disrupted. Aein immediately tries to turn off the phone, but it's too late. Hanul resumes her suspicions of Aein and continues to seek information about her at her old school. At that moment, Hanul's mother calls, and she has to return home. It turns out the call is from Hanul's father. Her mother has suddenly passed away after working hard and suffering from a long illness that went untreated. Aein and her parents go to pay their respects to Hanul's mother, and Aein feels very guilty, staying behind to reassure Hanul that she will not talk about it with anyone. Hanul directly asks if Aein is the genie, but she still does not admit it. Once again, Aein dreams of a nightmare, her hand in the dream covered in blood and a girl claiming to be a genie screaming at her. Aein also notices Hanul's absence, but since he has promised Hanul, Aein does not tell him about her mother's death. After school, Mi-jin and Aein go to a cafe where they discuss how to bully Hanul when she returns to school. The next day Hanul comes back to school, but she feels unwell and asks to rest during PE. When she returns to class, Aein realizes she has lost the necklace that Jin's son had given her before he moved away. Aein comes to talk to the homeroom teacher. Aein eavesdrops and runs back to class to spread the news. She even comes to talk to Aein very intimately. Just then, a few girls in the class also speak up and blame Hanul for often extorting items from Aein in the past. Mi-jin and Aein surround Hanul's desk and demand to search her, finding her mother's hair clip and playing with it, which infuriates Hanul. Mi-jin finds Aein's necklace in Hanul's bag and pushes her down. They lift Hanul's skirt like how Hanul used to do to Aein and threaten her in front of the class. Everyone calls Hanul a thief and she cries, but Aein just looks away and turns his face. At that moment, Aein stops them and pulls Hanul outside. Aein asks Aein why he doesn't intervene in Hanul being bullied, and he says he doesn't want to draw attention. Aein says that although Hanul has bullied her, how she handles it does not need Mi-jin's intervention, and Aein doesn't like her either. Aein returns to the class and confronts Aein and Mi-jin, calling out Aein as the real bully, and the fact that she knows so much about the necklace proves she is the thief, not Hanul. At this time, Aein also steps up to expose her, while Mi-jin pretends to know nothing about it. Aein then asks her how she knows the necklace she finds in Hanul's bag is hers. She again plays the victim and blames everything on Aein. The other girls also blame Aein. She goes crazy and sprays everyone with a fire extinguisher to vent her anger and then throws the extinguisher, shattering a window. Aein retrieves the hair clip for Hanul and puts it in her bag. Hanul returns to class and pushes Aein's hand away and is about to leave. At that moment, Aein finally admits that she is Genie.
Thank you for watching. subscribe and like for more videos like this.